And he just pulled out a gun. He's like, Jimmy, I ain't going to jail. And he got out of the cab and actually left and kept the gun on me for about, realistically, probably 30 seconds, but it felt like 4 hours. I had a guy fleeing an actual drug deal gone bad. Like, legitimately dove into my cab on the ground of the back seat with money in his arms. When I was first getting booked on Fox, I was legitimately a cab driver. Like, my first hit at Fox, I had my cab double parked on 6th Avenue with the trunk open and the hazards on because I was trying to make sure I didn't get a parking ticket.
Who picks your clothes?
Listen, I am not going to sit here and listen to you disparage Stevie Wonder in the middle of the podcast. I think he's doing a great job with my outfit. One of the funniest conversations I ever had is I picked up a guy at JFK, drove him into the city, and he goes, man, this city has bad coffee. Because every time I pull up to a red light, I see a guy dumping out a cup of coffee. And I was like, about that. That was not coffee, my man. Hanging with Hannity is now called Passing Out with Hannity. It's a spin-off show.
All right, so the guy that's hanging out with us today has become one of my closest friends at Fox. He is one of the funniest guys I know. I had the pleasure of doing a show with him. It was called Punchlines and Patriots, and it just was such a great experience. This guy is so quick on his feet. To watch a pro and then watch an amateur me, a little anticlimactic. But we had the best time. You all know him. You all love him. Fox News Saturday night. I don't know. Just looking at you makes me laugh and smile. What is that? Just being here makes me laugh.
Let me give you some inside baseball. I am like the family dog at Fox. That's why you're happy to see me. Okay, I always try to explain this to people really quick. You know when you go to the airport and the dog that's in charge of sniffing the bags always is smiling and his tail's wagging because he can't believe they're counting on him to save the plane? Okay, that's me. When I walk onto a set, I can't believe they're counting on me. So this is going to be a great hit. Assuming no one throws a tennis ball, we're going to be fine.
Okay, so we do this event together. And, well, first of all, the first time I was the MC of the Patriot Awards. I did it 2 years in a row. You walked up to me, you looked at me like this, and then you go, you're going to crush it tonight. And I'm like, how could you tell by looking at me whether or not I'm going to crush it or not?
Well, I mean, for starters, it's the right thing to say. You don't want me to walk up to you and be like, well, this is probably the last Patriot Awards. I'm going to be on. I was looking over your act. I don't feel good about this.
You're one and done.
No, comedy is an energy. Okay, this is so important. When a comic walks on stage, the magic trick, you hear the adage like, read the room. But in comedy, you don't read the room, you lead the room. You're the only guy with a microphone. You're the only guy talking. So knowing that your background in broadcasting is as illustrious as it is, you're used to leading rooms, you're obviously going to be able to do comedy. That's the magic trick.
Right.
The guy you're scared about, there's a lot of good writers out there, you know what I mean? But they look like they get paid in Funyuns, and they dress like they live in the Funyun bag when the set's over. They don't walk around with that inviting energy.
Right.
You know, a talk show host has the energy of like, there's warmth. And that warmth makes an audience comfortable, so I knew you were going to crush it.
So here's the interesting thing. All the years I've done radio, 30 some odd years, I've been on Fox 30. Probably the most rewarding thing I've ever done. I used to do these book tours, and the first 30, 35 minutes was always comedy.
Yeah.
And I found if you made people laugh, it just opened them up, and then you could talk about politics, take questions, and I realized that instantaneous feedback.
Yeah.
I loved it. I was addicted to it.
Yeah. It's the coolest thing about comedy.
But I'm not good at it.
No, you're great. Stop it. You're great at it. You on Punchlines and Patriots, you crushed. You want to know why you know you're good at it and you're being modest? Because I think you were supposed to do 40 minutes, and I didn't go on for about an hour and a half. It turned into a New Year's Eve ball drop by the time I got on stage. But I loved it. And the point is, when you talk about the human side of a political issue, meaning the side anyone can laugh at, you've opened up the conversation the way you just said, and you've put their vitamins in their applesauce. You know, as a kid, if you like eat your vitamins, they're like, no! But if you're like, who wants some applesauce? As you crush up the vitamins, they eat the whole bowl. Right. That's how political discourse works for me. If I tell 2 or 3 jokes and they laugh, you can pretty much make any point you want after that. But if you open with the thing they hate and disagree with, good luck getting a laugh after that, you know?
You know, it's funny. I remember going and watching Jackie Mason once on stage. And I watched him adjust his act in the middle of it.
Yeah.
He starts out very anti-Hillary.
Yeah, wow.
It was in New York.
Yeah.
Wasn't going over well. I saw him flip on a dime. Then he got him to laugh at general stuff. And then when the crowd was warmed up, he went back to that material.
Wow.
And then it killed. It crushed.
No, he was, as versatile as a joke writer as anyone who ever lived. I had a Jackie Mason joke box growing up. It was a little battery-operated box, and it would say, "You're a schmuck." And you could play it. And as a little kid, you thought it was funny. Well, what's interesting about Jackie Mason and his ability to pivot in real time is that if he was alive today, performing in Mom Donnie's New York, by the 2-minute mark, he'd stop saying he was Jewish. He'd be like, what? Maybe not. But no, he was awesome. But that's called being in the moment.
Yeah. Before we get into your whole life story and, the years you were a cab driver and how you developed your act and how, you don't get paid a lot when you're working in small comedy clubs.
You know what the old adage is? They say in comedy you get paid weekly, very weekly. Good night, everybody. That whole thing. There it is.
But the thing is, you wanted to do this.
Yes. This is why I'm seriously probably one of the best American stories I know, for real.
I agree.
Okay, because I was raised in Levittown, New York, Long Island. A lot of, vets, World War II vets lived there. I grew up, everybody in my hometown was a veteran.
By the way, can we talk a little bit before you get any further? Who picks your clothes?
Listen, I am not going to sit here and listen to you disparage Stevie Wonder in the middle of the podcast. I think he's doing a great job with my outfit.
Why are you obsessed with pink jackets?
It's not necessarily the color, but I like to wear loud stuff. Back to the original adage I said, in comedy, you don't read the room, you lead the room. If you come on loud, you're demonstrating a sense of belonging in your position, and it's kind of like a confidence game.
Right.
Now, if you want to know the truth about why I wear it on Fox, and this is real, okay? When I was first getting booked on Fox, I was legitimately a cab driver. My first hit at Fox, I had my cab double parked on 6th Avenue with the trunk open and the hazards on because I was trying to make sure I didn't get a parking ticket. If you have your trunk open, they assume you're going inside to get a couch or something.
Right.
So I literally went in and did a hit and ran back out and had to finish my shift.
How did you get the first hit?
It's so amazing. I was performing at Gotham Comedy Club on 23rd Street, and a kid had booked me on Kennedy's FBN show. I was like, "Hey, you want to be on Fox tomorrow?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." I didn't even know it was real, but I had to drive my shift.
Right.
So in the process of driving my shift, I stopped for an hour, did a hit at Fox, got back in my cab afterwards, told every passenger and everyone, I'm like, "I'm on TV tonight."
Yeah.
And they were like, "Honey, let's get out at the next light. I think he's on the pot." You know what I mean? They didn't think it was real.
Right.
But when I started out, I was dressing loud for real to distract from my glaring lack of intellect. Okay, I'm not self-deprecating. I didn't have a strong political background.
Right.
So if I came on in a loud jacket and you guys said, "Oh, look at Jimmy, he's dressed like an overweight figure skater," that's 1 minute, okay?
And it comes in women's also.
Hey, there it is. Second minute is a metaphor about sports. You know what I mean? Third minute's goodbye. And you're like, "Wow, that Jimmy Failla, he was all right." You know what I mean? Cut to me dropping a guy off at LaGuardia 20 minutes later. But I wanted to do this my whole life. And I was raised in an environment that really did instill in us that we could. Okay, I grew up in Levittown. Literally every guy in my hometown was a veteran. I grew up surrounded by a lot of old men you should never make a sudden move around. You know what I'm saying?
We grew up the same way. I grew up in Franklin Square, which is like Levittown.
Yep.
And very similar. My dad fought in World War II. I mean, that's hardworking, middle class, salt of the earth.
Yep.
Love their country, patriotic. Unlike Mom Donnie's New York.
It's so crazy. I don't know. Mom Donnie's 4th of July for Mom Donnie's like a day of mourning. I think they're setting up a grief hotline in his office. It's so sad. But the people I grew up around, okay, were in on the joke that if you lived here, you hit the lottery. You know, Bernie likes to talk about the 1%, but if you're an American, you are humanity's 1%.
Right.
And if you were raised to know that, you never really questioned, your standing. Should I do this? Should I? Of course you should do it. You're from the country that put somebody on the moon. Go do your thing. So for me, I had a 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Pascana, who told me to go home and watch The Tonight Show. She said, tell your parents, Mrs. Pascan, I want you to stay up and watch The Tonight Show. And I did.
Johnny Carson.
Yep. And the next is Johnny Carson, Ed McMahon, here's Johnny, all that stuff. And the next day, she talked to me about the monologue, about Karnak the Magnificent, and all the characters, the celebrities. And she's like, I just want you to put this somewhere in the back of your head. She's like, I think you could host one of those shows one day.
Wow.
Now, honestly, it could have been one of those deals where she felt bad because she saw my report card and knew I had no other option. You know what I mean? She might have been like, we got to sell this kid a dream. Okay, but the point is, I believed it. So through every taxi shift, through every joke you tell to two people in an opium den on the Lower East Side, everything you could possibly think. I've opened for Elvis impersonators. I met Clay Henry, the beer drinking goat. Like anything you can do in showbiz that doesn't matter, you know what I mean? You do on the way to mattering.
I don't want to get distracted. Was there anybody better than Carson?
At television, period, no. With all due respect to all of us.
Yeah.
Because there's such a warmth to that man that instantaneously...
A warmth that wasn't real, according to everything you read.
This is the thing. I've read...
A warmth that was not exactly warm behind the scenes.
He was in a position where I think he was a little guarded off the air because he was so big that he had a real hard time gauging who was sincerely a friend and who was trying to get over on him. And I think he was probably a little protective in that way. But I mean, he was a guy on TV that immediately gave you permission to feel safe. And that's absolutely what I patterned myself after. Not him. I don't have that style. I'm a little more pugnacious and everything like that. But I think it's impossible to look at me and think I care. Meaning I care about doing well. I care about you having a good time, but I'm not on TV. You know, if I'm in charge of the future of democracy, like we lost like 3 years ago.
We're screwed.
Yeah. I'm a grown man who plays video games, Sean. If it all comes down to me,
Whoa.
go ahead.
Play video
I mean,
games.
I have a kid. You play with your kid. But the point is one thing, like seriously, this is real. The last time my identity got stolen, my credit score went up 38 points. Okay. I should not be in charge of anything.
Oh, that's too funny. All right. So let's go from you have this dream, you have this teacher, you have this inspiration. That's not where you start.
No.
The most fascinating thing to me about your life is the fact that you really were a cab driver for 2.5 years of your life.
Yeah.
And for those people that don't know anything about New York, it's a 12-hour shift. Going to the bathroom could be very difficult. You even wrote a book about it. Yeah, well, think about it. You're in the car.
Well, can I give you some inside baseball on that really quickly?
Yeah, definitely.
Since you brought it up. I'm not proud of this, but when you're in New York City, one of the funniest conversations I ever had is I picked up a guy at JFK, drove him into the city, and he goes, man, this city has bad coffee. Because every time I pull up to a red light, I see a guy dumping out a cup of coffee. And I was like, about that. That was not coffee, my man.
Wow.
That's a guy working a 20-hour shift and needed a potty break.
Oh,
One
wow.
man's big gulp is another man's baño.
Wait a minute. So you're saying...
Oh, they're peeing in coffee cups. I wasn't. I had a garage. But if you're a lot of guys out there on the streets, yeah.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah, all day. You're driving a cab, man. Like, this is the thing.
You can't find a bathroom.
No, in theory, you can. But what I'm saying is...
You can't stop,
Yeah.
or you'll get a ticket.
Or you just might be in a 3-hour traffic jam. The Pope is in town. The president's in town.
So when I lived in New York, I don't know why, I talked to everybody. I talked to every cab driver. At that time, a cab driver would get a cab for 12 hours. They'd have to put their own gas in.
Yep.
They pay at the time, I don't know, I have no idea what they're paying now, about anywhere from 110 to 125 a day for a 12-hour shift.
Yep.
So they had to make 150 in fare before they can put $1 in their pocket.
True story. And there's another 50 they don't mention because they usually need someone to perform an exorcism on the cab when you get out at the end of the shift, depending on what you saw. But the truth is, there's a lot of overhead. So gas, as you said, and rental. And what you do is, if you own your medallion, it's a different story. But again, those guys still buy $1 million medallion that is worth about $100,000 right now because of all the Ubers and Lyfts.
You got to go back because medallions were going way, way up. And then all of a sudden, New York, which was selling medallions for millions of dollars, they sold them all, and then they allowed Uber and Lyft and all these competitors. But they didn't charge them a penny.
No, and the big difference there is Uber and Lyft didn't create more passengers. It created more drivers.
Yeah.
So it diluted the pool for the guys that were career drivers, and it devalued the medallion in the process. And it also hurt the medallion from the standpoint is I had to rent my medallion, as we were saying, for $150.
Right.
So if I was renting that medallion.
For a day.
Yeah.
For 12 hours.
Yeah. So if I was renting that medallion for 6 shifts a week, I was paying $900 a week to rent it.
Right.
In an Uber, you lose that overhead. So $3,600 a month back into your pocket because you're probably not driving a $3,600 a month car if you're an Uber driver.
Right.
You know, in theory, you could be picking someone up in like a Lamborghini. I mean, you're not going to fit anybody, but the point is,
How did you become a cab driver? How did that happen?
Okay, so I had a 7th grade teacher, Mr. Schwab. Who told me, go ahead.
Really, Mr. Schwab?
Not Charles Schwab. He was Mr. Schwab. He was a big Yankee fan. He hung up a lot of playbills. He was a Broadway play aficionado. He told me a lot of funny jokes. Could I tell you a funny joke?
Yeah.
All right, give me 2 minutes. You'll enjoy this. Mr. Schwab joke. I want him to have credit for this. So he's like a guy. He's got this cat. He loves his cat. He's single his whole life, no kids, but he loves this cat. His family's like, you got to take a vacation. Would you take a vacation? You never take a vacation. He finally gives in, takes a vacation. Flies down to the Florida Keys, day of fishing, calls up. Hey, great day. Best advice you ever gave me. Had a drink, caught a fish. What a day. Anyway, how's the cat? They're like, well, the cat's dead. He's like, what do you mean the cat's dead? The cat was my whole life. How, it's dead. What are you talking about?
Right.
And so he tells him the story. Okay. He says, listen, you got to let me down easy. Something like that. This was my whole world. How could you be so uncouth? Maybe I call and you say, you know, the cat's up on the roof. We're having a little trouble getting her down.
Right.
And then I call the second day and you're like, actually, the cat fell off. She's not doing too good. Third day I call, you say, yeah, the cat didn't make it. It's obviously still horrible, but at least, you know, you've helped me along. You've let me down easy.
Right.
He goes, so could you keep that in mind for next time? And his brother's like, yeah, fine. He's like, well, anyway, he's like, how's mom? He's like, well, she's up on the roof. We're having a little trouble getting her down. That was a Mr. Schwab joke.
Oh, my God.
But anyway, he told me silly jokes. And he was a guy that said the most profound life experience he had was when he was in college, he drove a taxi in New York City. And he said you'd pick up so many different people from so many different elements of life that it was impossible not to absorb a lot of things you could never know to go looking for. Professions you didn't know existed, you know, locations in the city you didn't know that were out there. And he said it really enriches your life in like such an interesting, creative way that wherever you're going from there, you're going to kind of feel like spiritually wealthier. I know that's a deep term for a guy in a pink jacket. That sounds like something I say after I sell you the drugs. Right. But no, it was real. And so that made me want to be a cab driver. And then what happened was when I married Jenny, and she got pregnant.
How long you been married now?
20 years this summer.
And you have a son, Lincoln, who, by the way, is wickedly funny.
The Link man's a good kid. He's got real chops. He's basically it's kind of rough because you're obviously proud of your kid, but he's what I would look like if I was skinnier. You know what I mean? If I was like tall and skinny.
He's kind of jacked.
Yeah, if I was in shape and I dressed like a straight man, Lincoln. You know, and it's the president said that. President Trump goes, your son, total package, good looking, smart, funny. What happened to you? He said that. Yeah, I laughed out loud. I was like, good for you. But but the point is, when Jenny got pregnant with Lincoln, I knew I was going to have to supplement my comedy income, so I started driving a cab, and that turned into.
So you were doing comedy first,
yes,
but you were doing small clubs.
Yeah, you're not making money.
You're making
$20 a set, $50.
How much?
For real, $20 a set on a weeknight, $50 on the weekend. You're not making money. I mean, that's the point. Like you're in New York for exposure. Because somebody's going to get a sitcom, they might put you on it, or some booker's going to send you on the road. And that's how it starts. You begin to make money in comedy by traveling. And every gig you book on, right? They're like, it's an hour outside the city. And you start driving 5 hours later, you're like, what city? Quebec? Like, they didn't say what city. They just said it was an hour outside the city.
Oh, boy.
It's always further than they tell you. And you're at a firehouse or, Knights of Columbus or something, and you're slanging jokes at a benefit or an anniversary, whatever the heck it is.
Am I wrong? A morning event is the worst event to ever do?
Yeah, because they're sober.
Usually, one, they're sober. Two, they don't want to be there. It's like can
I tell you probably one of the favorite morning events ever?
What?
The Talkers Radio Convention.
Yeah.
Like 2 years ago, I actually have to follow a 5-minute video from this jerk Sean Hannity, who's not
true?
there. Yeah, they played your video first.
Oh shit.
Then Joe Pags played a saxophone. Then I come out at 9:10 in the morning for a room full of sober radio people.
No thanks. That ain't gonna work.
I actually said, this was a tough gig to get to. My GPS actually told me to fire my agent. So I pull over and cancel immediately.
All right, so you start this. Now let's go. How did you get into the cab business? And more importantly, look, there are certain people that I meet in life that have the best stories. People that are first responders, policemen, teachers, cab drivers, off the hook.
Yeah.
Because you've experienced everything.
Yes.
Guy gets in a car. Where can I meet girls? Where can I do this? Where can I do that? Right?
Yeah. And oddly enough, in New York right now, it is actually AOC's district because that's I'm not even making that up.
Is that true?
Yeah. There's a good New York Post article called "The Boulevard of Sweethearts." It's about how over in Jackson Avenue in Queens, a lot of the migrant, streetwalkers wound up in her district. So she killed the Amazon jobs and replaced them with hooker jobs. Oddly enough, that's her big.
Why would she kill those Amazon jobs? That was dumb.
The dumbest thing in the world. But no one wants my financial analysis in this jacket. I defer to you. But it was dumb. It's because
But you wear that jacket all the time. What is it with that jacket?
I have several of these. I have a pink members only on me too. You know what I do a lot? I'm like, if you went. Not that you're like a Madonna guy, but you know that whole like Madonna in concert changes outfits for every song. I'm sure Taylor Swift does that too. I do that as a comic because it changes up the energy of the day. So on a day on Fox where you see me, if I had 3 TV hits in a day, you'd see me in a different jacket for all 3 hits because it makes it a new day.
But they're all ugly. There's not one that's...
You know who likes this pink jacket?
Who?
I don't want to name names, but it rhymes with Ainsley Earhart. She loves this jacket.
She was being polite.
No, she wasn't, because she was mean about other ones.
Is that true?
She's like, I mean, why do you wear it though? Is it like a joke?
Oh, she would conspire to, probably get me one if she really liked it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's funny.
I love that.
All right, so let's go to the first day. I guess you go to a cab company. You get hired.
Yep.
Okay, they tell you the rules.
Yep.
You show up the next day. You had to get your license.
Yes.
How long did that take?
So the process of becoming a cab driver is you take a course. It's almost a defensive driving course. Oddly enough, that's like a course you take in Queens. You then have to pay to get drug tested. And you go to like a doctor's house in Queens, in Flushing. You give them the $50 and leave. Apparently the testing is so sophisticated they can tell on site.
Look at you.
It was very fugazi, man. I did not pee in a cup. I did not draw blood. Not the first one. After that, when you renew your license, it's like one of those fancy labs that test it and everything like that.
Right.
And it is fascinating to hear that cab drivers get tested for drugs because when you watch them drive, you'd assume they're on everything,
They're not the best driver.
Well,
put it this way. There's not a cab in New York that I can think of that's not bumped up a million ways.
Yeah, because, that's part of surviving in the city is legitimately driving like you're trying to die. What I mean by that is there's a rhythm to the road. There's an aggression to New York that if you're not driving in that headspace, you're actually endangering everyone around you. To give you an example, if you're a yellow cab specifically, they expect you to run every light, cut off every you know what I mean?
By the way, now they have cameras
everywhere. And that's who they kill, the little guy.
Brother.
Yeah, they kill the little guy. But the point is, like, if you didn't run, a red light in New York City at a cab, you might get rear-ended by a cop. You know what I mean? Who was counting on you to run the light, not to write you a ticket. He's like, get behind the cab, he's going to run a light,
Right.
Because you're an expediter in a lot of ways. And what's happened in the city, this is real, is the pedestrians now run the streets in a way they never did before because of Uber, because people are driving their own car. When you're driving a taxi that belongs to a garage, there's a guy that'll bang the dent out at the end of the shift. You hit somebody, you cut somebody off, you sideswipe somebody, no big deal. Right. But if you've got to drive your kid to school in the morning in that car, your wife might have some questions if you get home with yellow paint on the door. So the drivers in the city now have gone soft because they're predominantly Uber, for real.
Okay, so you get your license.
Yep.
You start your first day. You got to walk. What was that first day like?
I'll tell you, this is real.
Now, did you know the city well? Did you know how to get around?
I knew the city pretty well. Okay, there's 2 magic tricks to this, but on the very first day, I lived on the Upper West Side of Manhattan.
Right.
So I'm driving 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. So you get on a subway about 3:15. Now, something I didn't know until that day is when you get on the subway at 3:15 in the morning, you're in somebody's house. Like everyone on the train sleeps on that train every night at that hour. Like I feel like I should have taken my shoes off and had like a bunt cake. Like I was a bad guest because everybody on the train's asleep. I was the only guy awake. So you kind of have the train to yourself. If people are snoring, you listen to your headphones. And I got down to 23rd Street. My garage and service was on 21st and 7th, right by the Gotham Comedy Club. And you walk down to your garage and you show the guy your license. He slides you a set of keys. You sign out the cab. We're doing this, Jimmy. And then you go out, my medallion, 2G34, that was the cab I would drive pretty, consistently, which is still on the road. Once they solve the lawsuits, I'm kidding. But you walk to the car, you open the door, and I'm telling you, this is real. I do not know to this day what I smelled when I opened that door, but I've never used my nose in a taxi again. Whatever it was, a combination of drugs or cologne or humanity or food or people, because what you got to realize is in the course of a 12-hour shift, you pick up about 60 people.
60.
So 60 people doing everything imaginable. Some of them are families. They'll go to the Statue of Liberty. Some of the kids going to a club.
Which shift did you like better?
This is the truth, okay? I like days, and I'll explain why, okay? There's less traffic at night, so you get around easier, but during the day, nobody throws up in your cab, ever. You know what I mean?
So you like that part?
Yeah, way better. And I can tell you this, if you try to meet crazy people, the days are better too. Because anybody can get in your cab hopped up at 2 in the morning, but it takes a real winner to do it at 9 a.m. You know what I mean? And that's the fun
They're
guy.
a pro.
Yeah, that's the time traveler, the wizard, a guy like that. So I drove both. I liked days better. But in starting that very
problem
first...
with daytime driving in New York City is traffic is hell.
It's just the worst. But you meet, for somebody like me who is ambitious and trying to break into showbiz, that's when you meet a lot of people that are running between meetings, booking things, doing things. And I had to do stand-up at night, so it wasn't really a choice. So I had consistently from... I got licensed in 2007.
Right.
Through those first, probably through like 2012, that core window of driving, I would meet my buddy Dean at 3:15 every morning, and we would write before work. Because your brain is sawdust after a 12-hour taxi shift.
You're just fried.
Yeah, you have nothing left. So, but you can get on stage that night and memorize a bunch of jokes you wrote that morning, and that's how you develop a stand-up career. So I was driving like 84 hours a week in a cab religiously and doing stand-up at night, and that was my existence.
So I would assume 75, 80% are mundane people going from point A to point B.
Yep.
But then you got the 20% that are nuts. I'm more interested in the nuts.
So can we talk about it? I picked up a woman with a sock puppet on each hand. This is one of my favorite stories ever. So,
whoa.
Yeah.
Real sock puppet.
It's 2 sock puppets, yeah. And they yelled at me all the way to Brooklyn, Cabin Plaza. Yeah. It's a great story.
They yelled at you?
All the way. So
the puppets did.
If you'll humor me, this is real. So at the end of your shift, when you have to get back to the garage, you're allowed to put on your off-duty light because you have to hand the cab to somebody else and refuse service because you're going back to the garage.
Right.
So I had dropped someone off at Madison Square Garden by the cab stand on 31st and 7th. They got out. I heard the door shut. There's nobody behind me, but I have the off-duty light on because I'm going straight down 7th Avenue to my garage. And they go, going to Cabin Plaza in Brooklyn. And I'm like, sorry, I'm off duty. And they go, why? Because I'm black. And I turn around, and it's a black sock and a white sock. And they're looking in my face.
No way.
And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm off duty. This is amazing. It sounds awesome. I got to go. They're like, James, don't be racist, James. We need a ride. And it was a little white girl behind the partition. I drove them to Cabin Plaza. They screamed at me all the way there. At one point, I consider this the low point of my life, for real, because I was really in a bad place in life.
Right.
They finally broke me because they wanted to take the Manhattan Bridge, and I took the Williamsburg Bridge because I knew it was faster. But they argued and argued and argued. And at one point, I turned around and yelled at the puppet, and I caught myself looking at myself in the mirror going, you did that, Jim. You yelled at a hand. You yelled at a hand. And I said, like, shut the F up. Well, I know what I'm doing. And anyway, I got over the bridge, dropped them off at Cabin Plaza, and the little girl pulled her hands down, stood up with a bare hand, gave me a 20 and goes, you need help, and just got out and slammed the door. It was pretty fun.
Wow.
Yep.
Were most people nice or not?
Nice, because I was an outgoing cab driver.
Okay.
What it comes down to is if you get in and you are in any state of distress, you're late for a meeting, you have somewhere to be, 99% of the time you do take that out on the driver. Like, why'd you go down 38th? You should have did this.
Right.
So I would always start with like, how's it going, man? Where we heading? What's going on? Which way you want to go? Okay, I normally go up 8th Avenue for this, but if you're feeling lucky, we could take 6th. And the reason you recommend a route to them, you give them 2 choices, is because ultimately, if something goes wrong, it's their choice. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you tell them to take 6th Avenue and there's a ninja fight, they can't go, why did you take 6th Avenue? They told you to take 6th Avenue.
All right, so there's got to be a top 50 list of crazy.
Oh, yeah. Clay Henry, the beer drinking goat. You want to hear about it?
What?
This is a real thing, man. Everybody loves such a silly story. So there was a guy on Houston Street, which is downtown Manhattan, okay? So he's on Houston and Varick. There used to be an 80s club over there called the Culture Club. It's not around anymore. But I picked up a guy not far from the Culture Club who had a goat and a 6-pack of Bud Light Tall Boys.
A goat?
A goat, straight up goat. So
a goat in New York City.
There's a real story here, Sean. I'm going to get there, I promise, because it
Just
sounds so
checking.
preposterous. I'm with you. Imagine your incredulity. Now imagine mine, because at 5 a.m. when you see a goat in a 12-pack, you're like, all right, I got to tell my dealer to shorten the dosage next time.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what he sold me. This isn't good. Anyway, so he got in. He was trying to go up to Letterman. It's like 2013, an audition on Stupid Pet Tricks. So we had a goat from Lajitas, Texas, Lajits. Clay Henry, the beer drinking goat, internet verifiable. There have been several of them. Okay, and he's like, this is Clay Henry, the beer drinking goat. He's like, give him a long neck bottle of beer. He's going to chug it right down. And I was like, this is crazy. And he gave the guy a beer, and the goat went and knocked down a bottle of beer. And for as long as I live, I will never forget. I was looking that guy in the eye in the rear view going like, oh my gosh, a beer drinking goat. And he was looking back going, oh my gosh, a white cab driver. We were both stunned. But he drank beer all the way up to the Ed Sullivan Theater. And then I dropped him off. I don't even know if the guy had a legitimate appointment or not. He just got out and went and knocked on the side door. And I was on to my next favorite.
I can't recall ever seeing a goat in New York City.
I don't think you can have one. I think you need some kind of license or clearance.
Something.
This guy probably drove up on a truck and gave it a shot.
All right. So, but then you're dealing with people. When I was a bartender, I learned a lot about people.
Oh, yeah.
A lot. And it actually helps you in every aspect of your life when you learn about people. Okay. I assume you pick people up. They start making out in the back of the cab. How crazy did that get? How often?
People, listen, you listen to a lot more people hooking up than you watch. And you want to know why?
Oh, my gosh.
Good-looking people have apartments and places to go.
Right.
It's the other people that do it in your cab. And you wind up hearing more than you see.
What are you doing when that's happening?
Usually turning up the radio, acting distracted, just trying to
act like you don't know what's happening.
Yeah, you kind of play dumb unless they have questions for you, because sometimes they do.
What about people that are high?
That's a constant. Like that, especially in the city, that's nonstop. And what's interesting about that is the way you learn where, like, the term crack house, like legitimate crack house where people are scoring drugs,
right.
You figure out where they are based on dropping people off there. So you might pick up a guy at the beginning of your shift, 4:50 in the morning. You take him up to like 187th and Wadsworth Street.
Right.
And when you drop him off, you see a bunch of zombie people outside of a closed building. You go, oh, this guy's buying drugs. So the next time someone gives you that address, you know where you're going. You know what you're taking them to.
So would people get in your cab for the purpose of you driving them to make a score?
Yeah, but they don't implicitly say that. That's what I mean. They would take you somewhere, and and once you got there, you'd realize what was going on. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. What if it's somebody from outside of New York?
And they're saying they're just looking for like crack or something?
Looking for drugs, looking for women, looking for whatever.
Yeah. Well,
what would you do?
I mean, if it's drugs, like I go straight to Dana Perino. Hey, all right, what's going on? Jimmy's got Fox jokes.
I'm sure you're going to have a lot of luck there.
She'd laugh at that. She's a sport. No, if it was like for real, if they were looking to score drugs, I mean, I definitely know what to take.
They would ask you.
Yeah, this is.
What would you do?
This is, in all honesty, if they were going someplace like, where could I get weed around here? You just take them to the village. That's what you do. You don't take them to a specific spot. You take them to a neighborhood. You know what I mean? So if you went out to the West Village and you drop them on Bleecker Street, they're going to find whatever they want, because people are going to approach them. So you're not running like a courier service. You know what I mean?
Who helps America go farther, fly higher, dream even bigger? People do. Now, since 1879, our people have been more than a source of energy. They have been a source of progress. And today, that same progress is helping deliver record U.S. energy production, fueling the workers, the makers, the boundary pushers, the risk takers, the people that spark the breakthroughs that move our great country forward. Learn more about what our people do at chevron.com/USA 250. I think at the time you were driving, there were not a lot of like gentlemen's clubs, if you will. They went away for a while.
Yeah, but you want a funny story about that really quick?
Yeah.
When Rudy Giuliani heroically saved Times Square.
He did.
Cleaned it up and legitimately, overhauled it head to toe and revitalized the entire tourism industry of the city, which is the 1A to Wall Street's 1 in terms of what drives the economy. So there's no understating like the economic importance of Rudy Giuliani. There really isn't. This guy drove the city.
It was dramatic.
But when he rezoned the Times Square area,
Right.
a lot of the gentlemen's clubs, in order to maintain a liquor license, they had to ascribe to the cabaret rule, which
Right.
meant that they needed to be 50-50. Just this is important. So they could be 50% gentlemen's club, but they needed 50% something else. And the easiest thing for them to produce was comedy. So a lot of guys my age, when we started out performing at places like the VIP Club or Tens, which was over on 20th Street.
This part of the room would be packed. Your part of the room would be empty.
I want you to understand this. This is so funny. You go on stage as a comedian at a gentleman's club.
Yeah.
You know this, I know this. There is nobody looking at you.
No.
Okay, nobody.
Not happening.
Now imagine, fast forward a year, when you're so good at ripping up the crowd that they are looking at you.
Wow.
And you're the poor girl with nobody looking at her. Imagine what that must feel like. You'd almost feel bad, but that's when you know it's time to go. You don't need to demoralize the dancers, But I bombed for a year at Tens, which is over on 20th Street. A lot of comics did. Like if you asked around, because when they rezoned the city, that's how a lot of us did open mics.
Right.
And they cleaned it up a lot, though. A lot. And to Rudy's credit, because my brothers are cops in Midtown for a long time. They're both retired now. But he was like, man, you talk about night and day, because the city was bad.
What about moments you felt afraid?
A couple of really good ones, but let me give you some insight into that. The longer you drive, the less scary it becomes. Like people always say, you ever profile? Do you ever like not pick somebody up because they look dangerous? And it's not actually true, because if like you're driving in traffic for 12 hours a day, you want to die. Okay, if I didn't pick you up, you didn't look dangerous enough. I was like, this guy won't go through with it. Right. I had a few in the beginning. I had a guy fleeing an actual drug deal gone bad. Like legitimately dove into my cab on the ground of the back seat with money in his arms. And he was getting chased out of the projects. And he was like, go up Cathedral Parkway, 110th, go up Cathedral Parkway, make a left Broadway and go down to the Port Authority. You gotta get me that, the F-A-B, any word that begins with a letter out of here, okay, all of them. And as I was driving up Cathedral Parkway, there were two guys running behind the cab. Now, I wasn't concerned that I could outrun them. I'm in a cab, I'm gonna outrun them, but I still don't know what I have in the back seat. You follow?
Right.
And that's when it becomes a little daunting, because this is clearly a person who doesn't have great judgment. They either robbed a drug dealer or they were dealing drugs and it went sideways. They're now in your cab. It's live ammo. And for this particular guy, I had to kind of snake charm him up because he was laying on the ground. So I was talking to him about scenery. You got to see this girl over here. We're on the west side. These are Columbia girls. You're going to like these. You're just trying to make small talk.
Right.
And it took till almost all the way down. If you make a left on Broadway and drive south, it eventually becomes Columbus Circle. By the Time Warner Center. Shout out to CNN. and right,
Fake news.
How about it? And right around, there are more people on this podcast right now than there are watching
That's
CNN.
true.
We can tell jokes. But right around the Time Warner Center, he popped up and started asking me about a girl, and I was like, oh, he's up. And we talked the rest of the trip. But for about 80 blocks, I really, truly didn't know.
Nobody ever pulled a knife or gun?
No, I had a guy pull a gun on me. I had a guy go into a Martinique Hotel in Queens, which is one of those, not even a real chain. He had told me, and I related to this, it was his last day of smoking crack. He was quitting.
He told
tomorrow.
you that.
Today was.
He decided this is the last day.
Do you know when you meet those people that are like, I'm going on a diet Monday.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat everything on Sunday. Give me 5 pieces chicken farm. So I related to his headspace. He's like, it's my last day of smoking crack. I'm going to this hotel. I got a couple of girls. We smoke all this crack. Tomorrow I'm a new man.
Right.
And about 8 minutes into that trip, someone decided I was probably actually an undercover cop, because they do undercover work in cabs.
Sure.
And I don't look like a traditional cab driver. And that guy pulled a gun on me pretty aggressively, too. He wasn't nice about it.
What happened?
This is what happened for real. So he's like, Jimmy, you a cop? Like we were talking, we were laughing. He's like, you a cop? I'm like, no, I'm James, driving to Martinique Hotel. We're still going to Martinique Hotel. I instantly knew his energy went the wrong way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's like, Jimmy, how I know you're not a cop? I'm like, whatever way you know. I'm like, you want to pat me down? You want to fill me up? You want to take my top off? I don't have a badge. I don't have anything like that. I'm like, we're having a good time, Mikey. Girls, you having a good time? And he just pulled out a gun. He's like, Jimmy, I ain't going to jail. And he got out of the cab and actually left and kept the gun on me for about, realistically, probably 30 seconds, but it felt like 4 hours. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Maybe it's 15 seconds, but it's 4 hours if you got a kid and a wife and it's bad. And walked away pointing a gun at me, and then walked away with 2 girls. Probably even hailed another cab. But what's interesting is if you thought I was a cop, because you always replay things like this. I mean, if you think I'm a cop, you probably shouldn't pull the gun out. You should probably get out of there. You know what I mean? But again, people who are declaring that Sunday's their last day of smoking crack aren't known for their sound judgment, Sean.
Not
In my studies over the years.
What about how often did people get in your cab, get to their destination, jump out, not pay you?
Only 2. Can I tell them to you?
Seriously?
Yes. Okay.
I would have thought a lot more.
Not as bad as you think, but one of them was actually, the guy ran so hard, it was flattering.
Right.
Like he clearly thought I was in better shape than I was. So this is how they run out on a cab driver, just so you know.
Right.
They have a destination. They tell you, like, say they're going to 42nd and 9th, down by the Port Authority, okay? There's the Elk Motel on 42nd and 9th, and it's right by Gray's Papaya.
Right.
You get 3 hot dogs for like a nickel.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, this is cheap. I'm like, no, don't worry. You pay again later. Okay, it's going to work out. But anyway, they give you a street number like 42nd and 9th. So you're driving with that intent, but they know they're running out on the fare. So the first light you hit that's pretty close to the destination, like 44th, 45th, at that light, the guy got out and ran.
He bolts.
Literally hit a light, door.
There's nothing you can do.
You're not chasing the guy for $12. But
Right.
the level of hustle this guy put in was actually like flattering.
Right.
It was like, wow, this guy really took me for like an athlete. Because I wasn't catching that guy. There's no way I was catching that guy.
Did you ever pick up famous people?
Yeah, I picked up Dennis Hopper from Easy Rider.
Right.
Over in the meatpacking district, 14th and 9th.
Pick me up.
Yeah, I refuse service. I tried to pick up Gutfeld once, but we didn't have any kid seats in the cab. Hey, there it is. I got to give you some love. But no, hold on a second. Dennis Hopper, Edie Falco from The Sopranos.
Yeah.
A really cool story. There was a Yankee who hit one of the biggest Yankee home runs in 1996. Jim Leyritz hit a home run against the Braves, Game 5 of Mark Wohlers. And I picked him up in a cab and wound up interviewing him like 10 years later on my show. And it was really interesting.
Did you remember?
Yeah.
He did.
Oh, it's a great story. So I picked him up the morning of the last game played at Yankee Stadium.
Wow.
September 20th, 2008. It's either the 20th or the 21st. Right.
The old Yankee Stadium.
Old Yankee Stadium. They didn't make the playoffs that year. So they knew the last home game was the last game of the season. Derek Jeter came out, gave a speech with a microphone at the pitcher's mound, thanked the fans, were moving across the street. My first fare the next morning was Jim Leyritz going to LaGuardia. And he told me he was there, rooting on the team, so many moments there, meant so much to him. About 10 years later on opening day, Major League Baseball, it was 12 years, it was during COVID because they did this initiative. Remember they were playing baseball without fans?
Yeah.
So it was like basically like going to a Mets game. You know what I mean? There was no fans. But anyway,
ouch.
So it's not good. So I picked up Jim Leyritz to go to LaGuardia. We had to talk about the Yankees. He knew I knew who he was from the second he got in. He was very friendly. And about 10 years later, when I interviewed him, I said, hey, man, let me ask you a question. After the last game at Yankee Stadium, did you take a yellow cab to LaGuardia? And he goes, dude, that was you. Oh, my God. And he was great.
Wow.
We picked up where we left off.
So it really didn't have any bad experiences. Did you work on your routine with the people in the car?
Not jokes, premises, setups. Because people would get in and tell you about their relationships.
Right.
You dig?
They just start talking to you.
Yeah. And
You're like a therapist.
You are an affordable therapist because they think that they're never going to see you again.
Right.
And the thing is, sometimes you see him again. And it's awkward as hell.
Wow.
Because this guy just told you about his love life for an hour and a half. You see him 3 days later. You're like, oh, look who's getting spanked with a G.I. Joe again. This is awkward. Not a lot of eye contact today.
Wow.
I'll tell you one other guy I picked up twice. This is a sweet story. I picked up an old couple 2 days in a row, and they didn't recognize me. And the second day, they trashed me from the first day. So they
the guy we had yesterday, and it's you.
They were going up to Columbia Presbyterian on the west side.
Right.
And there used to be a Citgo gas station. Remember Hugo Chavez?
yeah.
Citgo. There used to be a Citgo on 25th and 10th. And I picked him up on 25th and 10th on the west side, going straight up 10th Avenue. And I thought they were pleasant. We were listening to the music. I was gently darting in and out of traffic, steering with my knee while you talk to them. You're not even looking at the road. It's a cab move. You're doing one of these. So anyway, I thought we had a great conversation. I dropped them off. I picked the same couple up almost to the minute the next day at the same gas station because one of them was going for treatment.
Right.
5 minutes into the drive, the wife goes, well, I have to tell you, your much more pleasant than yesterday's driver. And the old man goes, the man was a menace. It's like they don't know it was me, and it was so me.
Did you try to entertain the people that you picked up?
Listen, to the extent that like you had somebody that was like fun, yes. Like you'd get in, you'd have fun, fast, jokey people that got in and realized you were a little nutty and wanted to run stuff off you. But the biggest thing you do, this is interesting, is driving a taxi is the original form of social media. And what I mean by that is, yeah, and I know you know this, the first guy gets in the morning and posts something on your wall. Hey, did you see what the mayor did? You don't even know what the mayor did, but you hear him out. You listen to talk radio. You get a feel for what the mayor did. By the third passenger of the day, you have a hypothesis.
Right.
Like, hey, you believe what the mayor did? And now that guy talks to you, and he gives it to the next guy, gives it to the next guy. By the time you get to that 55th or 60th passenger, you have like a hardened belief on something that started with a guy introducing a subject in the morning. And that's consistent.
So you're doing this to make a living. You're doing stand-up at night. You're not making any money doing that.
No.
Okay, so when does the breakthrough happen? Because when we did Punchlines and Patriots, I mean, we sold out the place and packed.
Well, you know, we're moving a lot of tickets on the road. It's the coolest thing in the world right now. I mean, Fox is obviously the difference maker for me personally.
Right.
And that was the breakthrough, getting onto Fox.
Right.
So it started out doing shows like Red Eye and Kennedy, and then getting dealt into, you know, more regular shows.
You used to write for Kennedy.
Yes. So Kennedy was the first person to book me because one of her bookers at the time saw me at the Gotham Comedy Club. That was my home club at the time, put me on the next day. And then in the process of doing like sporadic hits, you know, you have somebody on once every month, every 2 months, whatever it is, I picked up a little traction. And when their writer was leaving, they were like, you know, they asked me to come in and write the show. So in the process of writing the show, that created more opportunity on the channel for me to promote the show, created a little more opportunity on radio. And that for me was the big difference maker.
How do you like radio?
It's my favorite thing in the world because it's like this. We have time.
Right.
Our television shows are tight.
4 minutes.
And remember this, the next time you're watching Hannity and you're not hanging out, you're watching. Okay, we're hanging out. We're talking for all day, but you're watching.
Right.
Okay, I'm on TV, but there's another story underneath me scrolling across the screen and a picture of the guy who's coming up next. Like TV is like, bang, you know what I mean?
4 minutes, next.
Yeah, it's more of an assembly line. And that's great because of the turnover and it keeps it moving and you get to more subjects, which is awesome for the medium. But in radio, I like the relaxed vibe of conversation. So it's more in the spirit of like what I'm from.
So you're working out, you're on your routine, you're not getting paid. Breakthrough. When did you break through?
Like big time?
Yeah.
I guess when you start passing clubs, this is just comedy specifically, when you start passing clubs in the city, because those are the ones where, you know, if you're getting up at, say, the Comic Strip or the Comedy Cellar or Gotham Comedy Club, when you start playing those rooms, you're now on stage with like Jerry Seinfeld, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, you know, real.
And you know all those guys.
Yeah, you see them all the time. I mean, you're not like hanging out with them.
Who do you like the most?
If I had to tell you who I thought was the best in the room comic, it's right of those three. It's probably Chappelle, because he's doing.
He's smart as hell.
Yeah, he's good. What I love about Seinfeld right now, and it's really good, is he doesn't have to take it. So when he gets interrupted with like a free Palestine,
he doesn't care.
Yeah,
that was a great video.
The greatest thing in the world.
I love that.
So he's kind of my hero in the moment because he's doing what comics are supposed to do. Remember, there's the one area where comics are failing the country. It's like we are. For all intents and purposes, we are clowns. I understand we work very hard at this. It's not an easy profession, but we're there to take the edge off. You know, back to the whole Johnny Carson mindset. You're all supposed to be welcome here because we're now in fun zone. We're in fun town. It's ridiculous. So the minute comics started getting super political, by default, they were automatically failing the country because you lost that permission slip to tune out from whatever your political ideology was or whatever your adversities were with the other side. So that's where I feel like the Kimmels, the Fallons, the Colberts, you know, God rest his TV soul, but that's where I feel like they failed the country because they're literally putting America to bed.
They stopped being funny.
Yeah, but that's like I can even forgive that if they were just not.
If you're a comedian, how do you forgive that?
No, I'm not okay with it. I think they're derelict in their duty in terms of them signing up to be late night hosts.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that, like, if they were just having bad nights, it'd be one thing. But they're intentionally...
They just hate Trump.
Yeah, they do.
And if you look at the ratings, for example, that Colbert inherited from Letterman, or
Oh, they were huge.
that Kimmel inherited from
Well, when
Jay Leno.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost 80% of the audience.
Listen, the thing they've done differently, okay, and this matters, is they took late night from like this land of make-believe.
Would you like another whiskey?
I mean, if you want me to have one, did you not get enough dirt out of me? I'll have a second one.
Yeah, we'll give them one more.
They took late night from like a land of make-believe.
That's Stephanie. You can take it,
Hey,
Steph.
Steph. Hey.
Don't worry.
Good to see you. They took late night
I'd
from...
give him a double.
Hey! It's funny. Hanging with Hannity is now called Passing Out with Hannity. It's a
Whatever.
spin-off show.
It works.
This show is going so well, you just launched a spin-off. I love that. But no, what they did wrong at late night, and this really matters, okay, is you got to look at a late night show like you're reading someone a bedtime story. It's usually a pleasant story, a funny story, a sick
Yours isn't a late night show on Saturday.
No, it's just ridiculous what mine is.
What do you mean it's ridiculous? It's not ridiculous.
It's doing great. No, what I mean is my show is absolutely positively an homage to the America I grew up in when we knew the difference between a joke and a hate crime.
Okay, let's stop right here.
Yeah.
I personally believe you should be able to tell, if you're a comic, any joke you want.
Boom.
I think there should be no rules at all. Like, for example, I really like Chris Rock. I think it's interesting because I met him in person. He's like,
actually
demure
kinda shy.
and quiet and
Yeah.
shy. Never met Chappelle, but I think he's brilliant. I knew guys like Jeff Foxworthy and Larry the Cable Guy. I love those guys. But there seems to be a double standard. They can say whatever they want. You can't.
Yeah, they definitely want to police us a little bit harder.
Why?
And, well, I mean, that's just the ideology of censorship. The right does not promote censorship. That's why they can say whatever they want, because we don't actually care. Like, we'll give them a hard time for being one-trick ponies. We'll go, Trump again. And we'll mock it, around the clock. But we're not actually trying to get them fired, per se. They see us as, like, soldiers, like enemy combatants, because they've fancied themselves, again, in the comedy space, which is we're supposed to be the off-ramp. People have fought all day about politics and whatever challenges they're dealing with at life. If you throw on a TV at 11 o'clock at night and you still need to be mad, you got bigger problems than whoever the president is.
Oh, that's a good point.
Big time. And so that's where they've uniquely failed the country, is they had such a big monopoly on late night, but because it stopped being what we expected it to be.
Why wouldn't Kimmel and Colbert and Fallon, there are clips of Johnny Carson saying, I'm not going to be political.
Yeah.
Jay Leno suggested they not be political.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they listen to...
Well, I think at this point, for real, there's like a point of no return for the Kimmels of the world, in that most of his relevance comes from taking shots at the president. And if Donald Trump ignored Jimmy Kimmel for a year, he'd probably be unemployed at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, Trump is breathing a lot of oxygen into his career.
Right.
To his credit, Fallon wants to be doing variety. He recognizes there's a market for this other thing, but he kind of got pistol whipped into playing ball with the rest of the woke mob because of the famous Trump went on The Tonight Show.
Right.
When Fallon mussed his hair.
Right.
And then the outrage of the day became Jimmy Fallon normalized Donald Trump, which was so absurd on its face because Donald Trump hosted a primetime show on NBC for 15 years. By the way, do you know what he did that summer before he went on Jimmy Fallon? He hosted Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
He came down the escalator in June of 2015, hosted SNL. And then that election ended with them crying because a guy who hosted their own show, he was good enough, accepted enough, welcome enough that he could host their show, but they now had to pretend the country died.
Okay, do you think your audience is more conservative because you're a conservative?
No, I think my audience, truly, honestly,
is a mix.
Yeah, but beyond that, I just think they are the people, you meet what you are, Okay, everyone who comes up to you on the street has your vibe. Hey, where's your stupid sport coat? You know?
Yeah.
Where's your wife? I can't believe she married you, you slob. You know what I mean? You kind of, whatever your energy is, you kind of force multiply that into the world.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure what their ideology is, but I know what their stance on comedy is. And the truth is, there was a better time in this country where the word joke automatically discredited whatever you said next.
Yeah.
It is a joke. Here is a joke about a bank teller.
Have you watched all of those old roasts with Dean Martin?
Yeah.
They're great.
They're amazing.
Amazing.
And they're wildly offensive.
Don Rickles.
And that's the, well, Don Rickles is great because he would come on any show. He'd murder the host. He'd murder the guests.
He'd murder
the
everybody.
audience. But his nickname was Mr. Warmth because they knew, as contentious as these sets were, it was just comedy.
How do you build out your show?
When I do it during the week, that's the truth. Because you're only on one night a week. You build it like...
No, I'm not talking about your TV show. How do you build out your act?
Oh, stand-up.
Yeah.
All right, good, yeah. So stand-up really is... I write by hand, and this is important to what I'm about to tell you next. I walk around with a notepad. In the digital age, sometimes it'll be notes in my iPhone, but the point is you constantly make observations. They're not necessarily jokes. They're just things you know are true. And you may later write a joke about them. You know those moments when you're watching a comedy show, he tells a joke, and you go, we were just talking about this on the way here. Those are the things you're trying to record in your head in the course of the day. So when you sit down to write, you're making human points. Because the truth is, comedy works when you're punching them in the human. Not when you're punching them in the Republican, when you're punching them in the human.
But you constantly have to be working on your act.
Big
Constantly.
time.
Okay, how often does your routine change?
In the course of a year, this is what matters. You kind of Bob Hope it. This is what that means. When Bob Hope would tour, every city he would show up to, he would spend 20 minutes that day writing a new 10 minutes about the town he happened to be in.
Wow.
And to really customize the experience that they were about to have. And then you do some mix of whatever you think the hits are. So you're adding 10 minutes a week. You're hoping they're good enough to be interchangeable in any city, but they're not. You know what I mean? There's some jokes you tell 1,000 times because they work anywhere. There are some jokes that have a short shelf life because they're based on the news cycle. The benefit I have right now in this pocket in time is because I have a Saturday night TV show, I'm writing a 20-minute monologue every week about the news of the week. And when you're on the road, you have 20 new minutes every week.
Okay, so it's easy for me to write a monologue.
Yeah.
Because I'm talking about issues.
Yeah.
But if I had to be funny and write about issues, that's harder.
Yeah, definitely. I think, but for us, though, what we're calibrated to do on the comedy side is really find this relatable human thing. The best tweet I ever got from the president about my show was on a night I made fun of him.
Really?
Yes. Because
what did he say?
It was about, well, he said, Jimmy Fallon's opening monologue was great, really funny guy, also wonderful wife, too.
Oh, nice.
Which, yeah, well, now that he praised my wife, they're going to invoke the 25th Amendment. But no, I'm kidding. Hey, all right, Jenny.
So who do you think of all the famous people that are in comedy now, who are the people that you think are the funniest, most talented, most gifted?
I mean, comedians.
Besides yourself.
Yeah, well, no, raw, straight up comedian, Rachel Maddow, obviously. No, I'm kidding. Listen, I watch a lot of comedy, okay? To this day, this is gonna sound crazy, but I fall asleep watching The Tonight Show. I put in the date.
Wow.
I put in the date on YouTube. I go, Johnny Carson Tonight Show, today's date. You might get one from 79. You might get one from 91. He went off the air in 92, so it's a window. But the point is, and I watch that opening monologue and kind of laugh about the jokes.
You don't even watch today's guy.
No, I don't watch. I mean, if I see a comic, it's because I'm in a club doing something.
Right.
So there are guys that are really good comics. Like Shane Gillis, the guy who got in trouble with SNL.
Yeah.
Really good comic. Andrew Schultz, a really good comic. He's a little dirtier than Shane is, but he's really good. But if you watch like the roasts, okay, Nikki Glaser I've worked with probably 500 times.
She's funny.
She's great. But that's what I gravitate towards. People who have an energy that gives the audience permission not to care.
Why are there some people like Chappelle, Chris Rock? There's only a few that will sell out those big arenas.
Yeah.
Now you're selling them out.
We're doing good. We're not at a Chris Rock, Chappelle level, but we're on our way. Okay.
Pretty much, yeah, big time.
Well, thank you for that.
I mean, I think because I was on the bill.
I knew it was coming. I'm kidding. Listen, we're doing well. A lot
But
of
you know,
that's
I
Fox.
did. I'm going to give you a compliment because
Thanks.
when we did it, I was smart enough to go out first.
Yep.
Because you're a pro. Okay, you don't let the pro go first because you're going to be a letdown. And you agreed with me.
I didn't agree.
You agreed. You know, you did agree with me.
I didn't agree from a comedy standpoint. It's just that you're too nice to say this. Maybe but
No.
you're the bigger star, and the coolest thing you can do, okay? It's almost like a sucker punch. Because whoever the big star is, the bigger name should go out last. Okay, should, in theory.
Usually.
But we should be building up to you, is how
Right.
that should be. I like the idea, like, let me give you this. On the road, I don't have an opener.
Right.
Because they come to see me, so they assume they're going to see some guy tell 8 minutes of jokes about the local water tower.
Right.
And the lights go down, and I walk out, and they're like, "Oh my God!" And I love that.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like the element of surprise. So I only have about 10 shows a year. I'm going to be in 45 cities this year.
Wow.
10 of them, my son Lincoln will open. Those are the only time I have an open.
Wow.
And I bring Lincoln out, and then
Is he going to follow in your footsteps?
I'm torn on this because he's
Don't let him drive a cab.
He's great at comedy. He crushes on the road because I'll write him 4 or 5 minutes, and when you're a little kid, you have a sharp memory, so they'll bang out every joke. So I could see him getting there. But right now he's graduating high school so young. He's like 17, so he'll be in and out of college, and he'll still only be 20. So there's room for him to evolve into something. But right now he wants to be a gym teacher, and I'm
Okay,
happy.
so the hardest part of comedy for me is I do radio 3 hours a day. It's all extemporaneous.
Yeah.
You know, it's all off the top of my head. If you watch me do my monologue on TV, half of it I'm ad-libbing.
Yeah, clearly.
You know, I just go off.
Yeah.
I don't like to plan a lot of questions unless there's very specific things that I have to get to. However, when you're on stage and you have a routine that you want to get to, the hardest part for me is to remember what the act is.
Yes.
I can't, my brain does not work that way.
Well, in comedy, okay, the reason you retain information is every joke is marinated in an emotion, okay?
Okay.
So something is either crazy, like, you believe this? Stupid, weird, scary. And those emotions are how you channel remembrance, okay? You have a point to make, okay, that's going to be backed up by jokes, but you get there in your head by relating to an emotion that you're going to convey in telling. It almost sounds really scientific, but it's true.
Right.
That is what you're doing. That's how you remember jokes. So to give you an example, if I was on a road, okay, let's say last week I was in, where was I? I was in like Lake Tahoe. It was nice. I was somewhere nice.
Do you ever get the wrong city?
No, I've never done that. But I have insulted them in ways that they weren't on board for, but then you can bail out. The magic trick of comedy is if you insult the audience and they go like, whoa, you have to have a worse joke behind it. Because then they go like, this guy's not messing around.
Right.
You have to insult them worse.
Oh, you go further.
Yeah,
go
you
deeper.
have to. You have to. I have so many examples of this that I don't think are suitable for this podcast.
Okay, every comic I know has bombed.
Yeah, definitely.
What's the worst bomb?
Ooh. Worst bomb all time. I want to give you a good one because there's several on the way up. In the beginning,
you know you're dying.
In the beginning, everything's.
I have one I'm going to tell you.
Oh, I can't wait. Okay, so do you remember there was a gal, Lisa Lampanelli? She'd be fine with me telling you the story. She'd do Howard Stern a lot before the king of all media became the Prince Harry of all media. He became a bit of a complainer. I do have a theory on that. I think Trump's omnipotence crushed Howard's ego because you know how he said he was the king of all media?
Yeah.
So Trump, who was a regular on his show, and his buddy.
Yeah, they were best friends for a while.
Of course.
I don't get what happened.
Well, I do, because knowing showbiz the way we do, some guys have that level of ego that can't coexist with
Every one of my friends loved him growing up.
Of course.
None of them like him anymore.
Well, that's because he went from a champion of the little guy to don't talk to me, little guy, you voted for Trump. And that has to be based in a personal struggle. And the personal struggle is Trump, who was his friend, I don't know that he was an equal, but he was his friend.
Right.
Okay, was part of the fabric of society, suddenly became the most omnipotently famous person who's ever lived.
The old Howard would have loved
I know
Donald
that,
Trump.
But this Howard was trying to ingratiate himself to this woke elitism of we're better than people.
Yeah.
And the idea that someone has achieved more than we have can only be discredited. In theory, look at it like sports, okay?
Yeah.
Donald Trump being who he is, okay, is profoundly successful and as impactful on the history of this country as he is, okay? If you looked at it like sports, there was a world where he was an underdog story, and he's now exceeded every odd and expectation there is. So if you were swimming in that same social circle, it probably kills a guy like Howard, because Howard was used to being the man. So it's so much easier for Howard to be like, yeah, but, than it is to be like, he did it. If you looked at it from sports, you'd just be like, maybe I was right. He did it. I got to give him his due. And that's what Howard should have did. But back to that point. Okay, so
Back
Lisa.
to bombing.
Yes, I know you're happy now. You got me in pain again. There's always a chokehold with you.
Sorry.
No, I love that. So me and Lisa Lampanelli were doing a gig up in Greenwich, Connecticut.
Yeah.
She was doing big-time Friars roasts, and I had a little heat in all the clubs in the city. And a gentleman who was celebrating his 60th wedding anniversary. So 60th wedding, you're assuming they're 80 plus. Okay, he was a big comedy fan. Nobody else in the room was. They booked us to come up there and insult this audience full of people in their late hundreds. I was on and off that stage without them even knowing what I had come there to do. Like when I say, you'd say I bombed if they thought they were watching a comedy show. I don't even know that they did, but I did spoken word. Like Hamas called it and took responsibility for the bombing 8 minutes into my set, and then she came on and did gosh knows what, but mine was, it was 8 minutes, but it was 12 hours. It was awful. Go ahead.
Okay. So the night that Newt Gingrich becomes speaker, the year is 1994.
Yeah.
I'm the MC. Every event that he had in Georgia, because until I came to Fox in 96, I would MC that event.
Oh, wow.
So they had a roast for Newt. Joe Paterno, Lou Holtz, I mean, every big political figure in Georgia, and then me. So I learned a valuable lesson. So I put time in. I went in prepared, had a lot of jokes, and Lou Holtz was on before me.
Oh, no.
Oh, he was such a powerful speaker. And if I had a list with every joke I had prepared, click, check, there was nothing left. There wasn't one thing that I could add that Lou Holtz didn't crush.
That's amazing.
And I remember walking out, I'm like, I've got nothing left. The only thing I'm good at is now repeating.
Yeah.
Not as effectively, because he was a powerful speaker.
Yeah, he was.
And I'll tell you what I did. Went out there, I was sweating. I remember, like, this sucks. This really sucks. I'm not liking this at all. And so I just figured, cut it short, get off the stage, don't humiliate yourself. I don't have anything to offer that crowd. I did like 3.5, 4 minutes off the stage, got my car, went home, and drank heavily. That was it.
Listen, less is more in comedy, but
you know, when you bomb, it sucks. It's a horrible feeling.
what you do as a comic, this is so funny, because you bomb all the time in the beginning, you develop...
You bombed all the time in the beginning.
Most of the time, like, you didn't do great. You did poorly enough that you write what's called bomb lines, jokes that acknowledge how poorly it's going.
Like?
You know, I'll give you an example. Like, yeah, no, you guys are wonderful. Like, of all the shows that have made me want to quit, this is the best one by far. And they laugh, you know what I mean?
It's a good line.
You know, I was actually supposed to do the Playboy Mansion tonight, but I was like, screw it. There's 13 people at the Bowery that don't laugh at anything. You know, you kind of put it on them. Like, I know this isn't going well.
Right.
And what happens as a comic is you fall in love with those jokes because they're so raw.
Right.
And sometimes you deploy them at the wrong point. I once saw a guy get a centerpiece thrown at him at a Staten Island Elks Lodge because he had convinced them for 30 minutes the show sucked and it wasn't going well, even though they laughed at every joke. And someone was finally like, if you hate it so much, get off the stage, and threw a centerpiece. But he was doing well.
So I learned a couple of things when I would give speeches. I don't do them anymore. Never, ever, like ever do a morning event. Ever.
No.
Nothing you do or say, nobody in that room is going to care. Issue 2.
Okay.
If it's an evening event, you definitely want cocktail hour ahead of time. Definitely. The longer the better, actually. And you can't have people eating food.
Yes, food. That's what I was waiting for.
You just can't.
Because you don't have their attention. Let me give you the third one. And if you haven't picked up on this, is important. They have to be seated.
Yes.
Standing is a social apparatus.
Right.
So if you're doing comedy and the audience is standing, they're talking. They're looking at their phone. They're walking around. They're going to the bar.
Yes, they got to be ready for your...
The worst bombs of my life are in standing gigs. It's funny.
I'll tell you another horrible thing. There are a lot of times people would hire you for an event, and then they want you to sit through a 3-hour dinner. And you're sitting there, not that the people are not lovely, kind, nice.
You're also just,
but I am getting drained.
Yeah, you're exhausted.
By the time you get up there, you are wasted tired.
Yeah, the only thing worse, because that's true, they have this way of, especially at like big benefit gigs where your heart's in the right place. This is a thing in comedy. I once saw Colin Quinn do the best job of doing this. Whenever you do a benefit in comedy, for as long as there's been comedy and there's a benefit to raise money for a thing, I don't know why, but they all start with a 15-minute video montage of people who've died of the thing. And now you have to run on stage. And the audience is literally crying and sobbing. They're like, who's ready for some comedy? And the best job I ever started doing this, Colin Quinn was opening up for Seinfeld at a benefit.
Right.
And he ran on stage after that 15-minute death montage. And he goes, I don't know what you need me for. You're all warmed up after watching that video. And they kind of laughed at the sarcasm.
Do all these famous comedians that you do run into on the road, do they watch you?
It's interesting about that. A lot of who the celebrities watch are like rappers and music people.
Really?
That's a good example. Like the Wu-Tang Clan, the RZA. He has a movie out with Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. I mean, iconic films, Reservoir Dogs, Dusk Till Dawn, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So he came on the show. He'd reached out to me. And he was like, the Method Man hipped me to your show. And he came on the air on my show and said, this dude is the fastest comedian since Rodney Dangerfield. And I didn't have the heart to tell him it was the drugs. I know, no, stop it. But people of that sensibility, creatives do like you because they realize what you're doing is creative and it's born out of a good place. Like comedy, if it's done properly, is the most accessible art form there is because everybody likes to laugh.
What's next for Jimmy Failla?
I want to write a new stand-up hour. This is important.
Wait, you're doing an Amazon Prime.
There's one out. Then there was a Fox one.
Right.
But I want to write a new one. Okay. Just so we're on the same page.
Where are you going to do it?
Most of the best things, we don't know where we're going to shoot it. I want to do it ideally for Fox Nation so I can cross-promote it on my show.
Right.
But the thing is, the best things you ever do creatively come from a primal moment in your life, okay? So for me, I've been in this pocket of 17 years of the last 17 years of my life is I just had a kid, so I was writing about that. I'm driving a cab, I'm writing about that. I just started going on TV, I'm writing about that. I got my own TV show, I'm writing about that. Great. But now my kid is leaving for college, and I am gonna wake up one day living in a new creative world. And I don't know what that world looks like, but I'm so fascinated to tackle it and try to convey that to the world because I think the most human thing you can do as a comic is talk about those unknowns, whether they're vulnerabilities or whatever they are, because I think those are the things that give people permission to take their own guard down and laugh at whatever dark place you take them to.
Are there any topics, subjects you won't go near because you know you're going to get in trouble?
No, God, no.
Nothing.
Dude, I do my show every Saturday night like I'm trying to get fired because I obviously don't want to.
Right.
I know they'd rein me in if they needed to. But the goal is I'm literally trying to make sure everybody knows I'm bargaining with them in good faith. This is comedy. And in the old adage, drive it like you stole it?
Yeah.
Whatever, window of time you're fortunate enough to have this level of platform, I'm trying to impact the world in a good way.
Yeah.
This is the thing about me, and this matters. It's kind of weird because I'm basically like a fat hippie, but I have this accent and this wardrobe.
Yeah.
It took me 25 years to get here.
How much did you pay for that jacket?
Enough, Sean. They paid me. Deep down, we're gonna find footage of you. But I know
Failla,
you're the best.
Thanks for hanging with us.
Let's go,
man.
Shawnee. You're the man. We'll do it again.
Thanks, man. Thank you guys so much for watching today's episode, hanging out with me, Sean Hannity. If you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel so you never, ever, ever, ever miss an episode. We've got a lot more great, I mean really great content coming your way. We hope you'll subscribe.